Hey guys! Higgy Pop in the comic room. Thanks for joining me. And today, I'm very excited today. Thanks for joining me in the comic room. Had a long day at work, and all I kept on thinking about was talking to you guys about something special. And you're like, Higgy, are you dressed like an Indian? No. I'm dressed like Airak, son of thunder. Guy gets no respect. He doesn't get enough respect. Airak, son of thunder. He came out in like let's see. He came out in from 81 to 85 from DC Comics, and he was created by Roy Thomas was the writer, and Ernie Colan was he was the artist for the first 12 issues, and then for the rest of the 50, they kind of went back and forth between Ron Randall. They had Gerald Fortin, and there was another guy. There was Adrian Gonzalez, but Ernie Colan was the main guy that created Airak, and he was the artist for the first 12 issues. And I got to go over this because he is awesome. He debuted in Warlord issue number 48. Where is it? All right, Warlord issue number 48. You know, typical Warlord, and it even says, extra introducing Airak, son of thunder, the greatest sword and sorcery superstar of all, in a special free 16-page preview comic. Airak is such a great story, and I'll tell you why. Because he gets reinvented back all the way up to 2015, and he becomes a totally different character. I'll tell you all about it. Just hang in there. So you go through Warlord in issue number 48, and here we are, baby. Here we are. Look at this. Boom. Okay? That's Airak. That's our man. See? See? And he's got an interesting story. He's from the Quantaka tribe, all right? And Airak means from the Quantaka tribe. It means bright sky after a storm. And so his origin story is, see, he has a hatchet. He's got a tomahawk and stuff. Airak, let's just go over it. He's good with a sword, great as an archer. He has weather manipulation. He could cause gusts of wind. He has illusion casting, and he is like a shaman towards the end. He is he's awesome. So his name is Bright Sky After a Storm, Airak, and his mom, who is so that's that. And also in this, just a little info, they have Claw the Unconquered also as a second story in here. This is an extension of Claw the Unconquered, his 1 through 12 series, but the DC implosion in like 78. Shannon from Solid Force Ben knows more all about that kind of stuff. The implosion and explosion, he calls it. See? This is all in Warlord issue number 48. There's Claw the Unconquered, and in issue 49, it continues another issue of Claw the Unconquered. But we're talking about Airak. So Airak's mom, her name is Star of Dawn, okay? She's seduced by a serpent god. Sound familiar, right? And but she gets rescued by Hino, who is their tribe's god. He's a thunder god. Hino saves the mother, okay? And she gives birth to a baby by Hino. And Hino calls him Airak, all right? And then eventually the serpent tribe attacks the Airak's tribe, okay? And they're getting slaughtered by the serpent tribe. But Hino appears, boof, and he grabs little tiny Airak and puts him in a canoe and pushes him out into the ocean. Little baby Airak, all right? And here's Airak Annual number 1. Okay? So Hino pushes Airak out into the ocean. And Airak is found, right, he's found by the Vikings. The Vikings find this little baby, and they call him Airak, not Airak, but they call him Airak, but it's close, and they just end up calling him Airak, right? So these Vikings raise him. This one, so they drag the canoe in, the Vikings, and Airak has a knife, and he goes after the Viking leader, and he cuts his necklace off, and the necklace had a Thor hammer on it. So Airak keeps it, and they call him Airak, and he's adopted by one of the guys on the boat, the Viking ship. Okay, and here is Airak, Son of Thunder, issue number 1. Ernie Colan on the art. All right, so through his adventures, it's more like he meets a lot of mystical beasts, like Greek gods, all sorts of stuff. He sees so what happens is he's with the Vikings, and they're going around, and they're just like Vikings. They keep it very realistic to the real Vikings. They don't have helmets with horns. It's like the History Channel wrote this comic, and they're going around. They're burning out churches and killing monks, right? So then they pillage this church, and they have this giant golden cross, and the leader of the Vikings puts it upside down in the ship, and Airak's doesn't like any of this stuff, right? And so he there's this a serpent attacks the ship, and Airak, he grabs the cross and stabs the serpent in the throat and kills it. And he's like a god. They call him like he's like the leader of the Vikings now. And so he's off on his own. So anyways, he ends up saving one of the monks, and the monk is Charlemagne from history. And so he hangs around with Charlemagne. He hangs around with Valda, who is the Iron Maiden. He encounters her in his adventures, and all sorts of stuff. He ends up in Japan. It's just great. So let's rip through some of these. I have all 1 through 50. I collected this from when I was a kid, because I was like, this guy looks like Conan, but he's not. He's Airak, Son of Thunder. And people never got into it, man. They never did. I think that's Airak's father, his adopted father. All right, that's issue number 1. Here's issue number 2. The Devil Takes a Bride. Ernie Colan. Issue number 3. This is the Valda, the Iron Maiden. So he teams up with all sorts of people throughout, and they're all mystical creatures. Like there's like people with goat legs. There's minotaurs and all sorts of stuff. And that's where it differs from Conan. There's not monsters created. These are mythical monsters that we read about throughout the centuries, and it's all cool stuff, man. It's issue number 3. Issue number 4. A Tree from Some Dark Hell. I remember he ends up meeting some knights, in armor and stuff. It's all great, man. So, here we go. Tournament of Titans. So the story doesn't end with Airak. He's got a very, very interesting story. Issue number 6. Look at this. The Stalkers of the Snows. Cool, right? I got 2 copies of that. I have a lot of doubles of this. Issue number 7. The Behemoth from the World Below. Yeah. Quantaco Tribe. Issue number 8. The Arena of the Black Pope. Black Pope. That's what I was going to name my heavy metal band, Black Pope. I love the... Oh, I want to go over something. Look at this. Before we continue. This is something I picked up years ago. This is the Indian 10 Commandments. This is right outside my Hawk's Nest comic room door, okay? The Indian 10 Commandments. Let me run through them. Remain close to the Great Spirit. I'm with you. Show great respect for your fellow beings. I'll try. Give assistance and kindness wherever needed. Be truthful and honest at all times. Do what you know to be right. Look after the well-being of mind and body. You got it. Treat the earth and all that dwell thereon with respect. Take full responsibility for your actions. Yes, indeed. Dedicate a share of your efforts to the greater good. Work together for the benefit of all mankind. This should be hanging up in the Justice League. You know what I'm saying? This should be in the Hall of Justice. Or maybe right outside the JSA's round table they sit at. The Indian 10 Commandments. I'll mail these out. I'll make them up into wallet size, and you guys can carry them around with you. Put that right here. All right? All right, you stay. Yeah, man. I was always into Indians. Even when I was a kid, we used to play Cowboys and Indians. I'm like, I'm being an Indian. I'm like, I'll be Chief Screaming Chicken, and, you know. And I was like, and, so I got this feather from Hawkman. Thank you, Hawkman. Thank you. He says hi. Ease up. This guy's always talking. All right, where were we? Let's get back to ARAK. ARAK, issue number 9. I got 2 copies. I got a lot of doubles. Issue number 9. See, he's swashbuckling now. He's a pirate. This is great, man. I feel, I mean, as Gunner, as Psychotronic Squirt Gun would say, you find these in the filthy 50 centers. And I think a lot of people just go right by this stuff. And I always picked it up. And I completed it. But this was when I was a young kid. Adventure on the High Seas. Yar! Issue number 10. See, here's like a Minotaur. Whatever they call those guys. You know, he's a real horse's ass. And there's his goat buddy. He's got the goat legs. It's hard to find jeans when you have goat legs. Believe me, I mean, I could only imagine the problems. I mean, I always had to wear husky but imagine having goat legs. How about sneakers? That would be tough. This is issue number 10. So, ARAK is a man versus myth atop the Mount Olympus. Sorry, I am not that smart. Issue number 11, ARAK, Son of Thunder, Into the Valley of Death. Into the Valley of Death with you. Issue number 12. This is the last art done by Ernie Colin, and then it switches up. Here, take a good look at this. I gotta get this. This is why I brought this up. Listen, I can't get over it, man. It's look at that cover. Look at the scythe on that thing. That thing is like, listen, point me to the cornfield. Pretty cool, right? That's issue number 12. Issue number 13, The Demons from the Dark, a macabre masterwork by Roy Thomas. Macabre, he's got his goat buddy with the goat legs. You see, ARAK's got the fringed leggings there, like he's going to a Bon Jovi concert. The guy looks cool. And there's Valda up there. And issue number 14. Issue number, I got a double. Issue number 15. Now he sports the mohawk. It's issue number 15 right here. I got 3 copies of this. Valda the Iron Maiden. Featuring Valda the Iron Maiden. He's got the mohawk. And he actually, I remember, he paid for that haircut. I was like, who gave it a haircut? Stevie Wonder? I was like, he's not going to get away with that. Let's go find that barber. Issue number 16. Mer Beast of Bizadatomimum. That's a mer beast. The Merbeast does not like mohawks, so he's drowning our buddy Airak. So I was gonna do this because I wanted to rebag and board all of my Airaks because they were from when I was a kid. And then I get a chat. Issue number 17, Death by Byzantinium. That's his little team. Valda. Issue number 18. In battle, joined with Hakun, the ultimate fuel. Pretty cool, right? See, between this and Conan, I couldn't get enough. And this is issue number 19, None So Blind. Here, this is a better one. This is a better copy. None So Blind. Those are big eggs. Issue number 20, Stalkers of the Sandy Sea. Adrian Gonzalez doing all the art. Got the hands coming up. I have 3 copies of that. Issue number... No, we got a sticker on this one. Give me a second. Oh boy, it's being difficult, guys. Being difficult. Alright, issue number 21. Swords Against Sorceresses. Him and Valda and Mr. Goat Legs. Johnny Goat Legs. Issue number 22. Fight for Life. Good job with the musculature. Issue number 23. Boom. The guy has a face on his belly. You see his head's up there, and he's got eyes for nipples. My third girlfriend had eyes for nipples, and I said, I want to start seeing other people because your boobs are seeing me in a weird way. Issue number 24. This is the 22nd anniversary spectacular. Novel length. It's a nice thick one. Tell your friends. Tell your folks. Come and get it. Fun. You could get this stuff for cheap. Cheap. Okay, we got a mess. Alright, now. We'll get to all of them. I swear. Issue number 24. Alright, issue number 25. Got a sticker on it. Let me get it out of the bag. Issue number 25. Alright. Tony DeZuniga. Tony DeZuniga was one of the creators of ARAK. I forgot to tell you. So anyways, ARAK's story goes on and on. Alright? Issue number 26. Badass. Look at that. Alright. Let me get this out of here. There's issue number 27. Covers by Randall. That's cool, man. Come on now. So, he ends up... This comic is from when I was like 12 years old. It is beat up. I remember getting it. Ron Randall on art. Roy Thomas. The Magic and the Madness. I used to stare at this cover like this. I was like, that is awesome. So, ARAK, towards the end, he ends up getting... something happened to him, and Hino comes to him, the god of thunder of his tribe, and and comes to him in a dream and makes him a shaman and gives him a cloak and everything. And ARAK comes back to the living world, issue number 30. And he finds his lost people, his lost tribe. He comes back to America. Right? Issue number 32. Come on now, we're DC. You gotta fight a dinosaur every now and again. It's a dragon. Dragon's doom. He finds his lost tribe. He makes his tribe. They settle in Western Canada, where he lives out a happy life as a shaman. Issue number 33. Long live the son of thunder. ARAK is dead. This is what I'm talking about. Hino comes to him and saves him in the afterworld. And that's when ARAK, Hino was messing with him, putting him through all sorts of like tests and stuff. And ARAK was like, all I want to do is gather my people, find my people. And Hino got all mad. I was like, just go back to the living world. And he's got more mystical powers now. He's really badass. Issue number 33. ARAK is all right. We read that one. Issue number 34. Night of the Ghoul. Issue number 35. Doom Sword over Damascus. Got a couple copies of that. Issue number 36. The Sword and the Serpent. Got a couple copies of that. A Vision of Valda. Issue number 37. Watch out for that unicorn. It's coming. It's coming. Look out. There's a unicorn. See the unicorn? Alright. Now, a couple more. And they got a big surprise. Big surprise. The unicorn. Valda's back. But will ARAK live long enough to find out? ARAK's just hanging back there. He's hanging around. Issue number 39. Tony DiZuniga doing the art. Tony DiZuniga, I love him from from the westerns he did and all that. Beware the bowl of heaven. Look at the face on the bull. He's like, that's what my dog looks like. I was like, you want to go outside? He's like, yes. Issue number 42. What lurks beyond the Scorpion Gate? I don't know. Apparently a giant scorpion. Issue number 43. Beast Men of the World Below. Great adventures, man. Issue number 44, The Man Who Would Be Death. Look at that. Look at that. Issue number 45, She That Hath Wings. It's a green chick. That reminds me of my first girlfriend. She was green and ARAK, Son of Thunder, from Valhalla, a Valkyrie, issue number 46. Great cover, man. Great cover. Who does that? Talk to me. Talk to me. It could be DiZuniga. I don't know. He does that, at least does the art inside. Issue number 47. Here be Hakon. Issue number 48. There's a lot going on. Him and Valda are in the Coliseum of Gladiators. Issue number 49. So, in 2015, issue number 50, giant size last issue. Roy Thomas and Tony DiZuniga. Look at that, man. 1985. All right. Now, hold on. I also have. Let me see. Let me show you one last. There was only one annual, and here it is. The annual right here, right there. That's him with the battling with the flaming sword. So, who remembers the crisis event Convergence? Convergence. Where is it? Convergence. All right. Now, this is in 2015. Dan Jurgens came out with this event. All right. And as you can see, that is Brainiac. So Brainiac gets access to the vanishing point. All right, and he gets access to the vanishing point, and he collects cities, and the cities have to choose a champion to fight for their own cities, and they're heroes that we know from DC. And the planet that this is all taking place on is it's a sentient being that Brainiac created. And you know who that sentient being is? It's ARAK. They brought back ARAK to make him the sentient being, and it's ARAK Prime, and his name is Telos. All right. So this is the from Convergence. This is the Brainiac we're dealing with. Right? He's a big baddie. Superman meets him, all right, and then ARAK is turned into Telos. This is Telos, and he's like, you can't beat him. What he says goes. He's forcing all our heroes to fight each other, and if the heroes lose, the city dies, right? And they have to choose champions, and a lot of people look at that. Look at that. Who's that? That's Warlord. So the good thing, I enjoyed it. Everyone hated this thing. Some of them fell flat on their face, some of these things, but some of them were great. And for instance, like they brought back every character you could think of, and it was great. And the single issues, if you find them, they're great because the characters you love, you'll find something with Convergence to do with them. Convergence spotlighted them at least once, and this is one of my favorites. I got a lot of the single issues, and I'm just showing you this trade because it's convenient. This was great. They brought back the old JSA members, Hawkman and Jay Garrick and all these guys, Dr. Fate, and they need their city gets taken over by Telos, ARAK, and they're like, what's going on? And what happens is a dome will go over your city, and it's like, choose a champion to fight for your city, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? No, we don't want to fight. If you don't fight, your city is dead. So they're forced to fight. So these four guys, they're all old. In this story, they're all old. They're in an old folks' home, and they're all, Hawkman's all old and gruff. He's like, what do you want? Where's my diuretic? But then boom, they get turned into young bucks, and they have a one last hurrah, man, and they kick coolly. They go. This is a great. See, I think Convergence was worth it, man. Anyways, Telos, ARAK, he at the end he remembers he is ARAK, son of Thunder, and he eliminates the whole Telos spell. He's no longer that sentient being, and then the Convergence gets taken care of from there. Read it. I think you should read it. Anyways, that is my man. That is my man ARAK, son of Thunder, and I am Screaming Chicken from the Smackahoe tribe. And remember your Indian 10 Commandments, and remember to read your comics. They make you smart.